Live at 5, this is 13 News Now.
Immigration and national security are top of mind for Attorney General Jeff Sessions tonight. The leader of our nation's Justice Department is covering these hot topics in Norfolk. Good evening. I'm Janet Roach.
And I'm David Allen. Sessions choosing not to address headlines involving President Trump and the special counsel during his visit today. 13 News Now investigative reporter Laura Geller is live outside the Slover Library where Sessions made his appearance.
Well, guys, Jeff Sessions spoke for about 20 minutes here at the Slover Library today. To give you an idea of the setup, he had to walk past a row of reporters with cameras rolling in order to get into this room. But Sessions didn't answer any questions from the media today. Instead of addressing reports, the president had the special counsel Robert Mueller fired. He stuck to the script.
Immigration is a national security issue. That's the word from Attorney General Jeff Sessions today as he addressed about 50 law enforcement officers from Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton, and Chesapeake, along with officials from federal agencies.
I really do want to thank our state and local law officers for what you do, the partnerships that we have.
The direct quote from Sessions, the president is determined to build a wall on the southern border.
This will make it harder, much harder, and far more expensive for illegal aliens to break our laws, smuggle drugs, or even human beings into the country. For many, it will become too costly or too much trouble, and they will stay home.
The head of the Department of Justice also detailed a merit-based system as part of the Trump administration's immigration plan.
That means welcoming the best and brightest, but banning and deporting gang members, identity fraudsters, drunk drivers, and child abusers, making them inadmissible in our country.
And as it was immigration that ultimately shut down the government this week, Sessions explained there is no permanent fix to the system without Congress.
We also learned about a plan to add more personnel to Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. We'll give you those numbers new at 6 o'clock. We are live in Norfolk tonight. I'm Laura Geller for 13 News Now.
Watch him react when we say kiss Leac. Come on, you gotta boo that.
Protesters greeted Attorney General Jeff Sessions in downtown Norfolk today. About a dozen people chanted for a couple hours before and after Sessions spoke. Their signs read things like "Purge your much" and "Welcome refugees and immigrants." The protests were peaceful.
President Trump's immigration plan is set to be presented to the Senate on Monday. The plan includes limiting Americans to sponsoring only their spouses or minor children for legal citizenship. It also ends the visa lottery program. The White House is asking for $25 billion to build Trump's border wall and increase border security.
We must replace our current system of extended family chain migration with a merit-based system of admissions.
The plan would be in exchange for offering a path to citizenship over the next 10 to 12 years to 1.8 million so-called dreamers. Those are the people who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children. 1.8 million is more than double the number protected by DACA right now.
Developing now, Leonard Morrison and James Gregory are charged with killing two people in Virginia Beach. Those are the two most serious crimes in a string of alleged criminal activity that spanned several cities. 13 News Now reporter Stephen Graves is in the studio, and Stephen, both men were in court today.
That's right, Janet, and they're both facing 2 counts of first-degree murder and robbery charges. That is just in Virginia Beach. Now, police say after talking to them, it wasn't hard to figure out they were the ones involved. Walking handcuffed before a grieving family, James Gregory faces a judge. His alleged accomplice, Leonard Morrison, in a wheelchair, now paralyzed from injuries, the two prime suspects in a double murder in Virginia Beach. Detectives say they admitted to having involvement. June 10th, police say 28-year-old John Raithjen and 23-year-old Rayvon Miles were found dead in this home off Lynn Haven Parkway. Detectives say both suspects drove here in hopes of a drug deal over Xanax. It turned into both victims being shot in the head, their bodies found on couches, according to testimony. Gregory is the suspected shooter. Morrison allegedly admitted to going in and robbing the place of electronics. Police say the two then went to Busch Gardens after the murders and then pawned stolen items the next day. Days later, the two arrested and suspected of GameStop robberies in Chesapeake and Hampton. Morrison even ended up in a shootout with police before his arrest. He was left shot multiple times. Today, a judge certified first-degree murder charges, among others, this hearing just the first of many to come. And today in court, we learned Gregory was actually $1,500 short of rent money when all of this happened. Now, the two have court dates in the coming months. Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
Man accused of raping a woman near Oyster Point is now in custody. Newport News police say they arrested Ezekiel Brown yesterday. We've been following this story since early October. The police report says a man forced the victim into her home at gunpoint, sexually assaulted her, and stole items from her apartment.
A pizza delivery driver who was shot yesterday is expected to survive. Newport News police tell us the man's condition is now stable. The driver was shot in broad daylight at the Cottage Grove apartment homes near Warwick Boulevard. Police are still looking for the gunman, who has a tattoo on the right side of his face. If you know anything about this shooting, call the crime line.
New federal report confirms what a 13 News Now investigation uncovered in November when inmates attempted to break out of a North Carolina prison. The facility was very understaffed. Now the National Institute of Correction says because of the shortages, Pasquotank workers fell short on conducting required strip searches, keeping track of tools and hazardous chemicals, and finding hiding places outside the view of prison security cameras. You can check out all of our coverage of the North Carolina attempted prison break, which left 4 employees dead. You'll find it on 13newsnow.com.
A Virginia senator's quest for answers is honored tonight. Last month, Senator Tim Kaine asked how much money Congress has paid out in sexual harassment claims. Well, today, the House administration released some figures. From 1996 to 2002, the Office of Compliance paid nearly $120,000 to people claiming to have been harassed or discriminated against in some way. The largest amount of $18,750 was for race, color, and sex discrimination. Chairman Greg Harper says one case of sexual harassment is one case too many.
A Virginia effort to ban bump stocks has been defeated, and gun safety advocate, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, is not happy. House of Delegates voted down legislation to ban bump stocks, close loopholes for background checks, and limit the purchase of handguns to once a month in an effort to reduce gun trafficking. Bump stocks were used in the Las Vegas massacre to speed up the gunman's firing rate. Nearly 60 people died. Gifford says Virginia needs to do more to prevent gun violence.
More coyotes are being spotted in Hampton Roads, and residents are concerned. Hampton police want to remind you of the potential danger to small dogs and cats left outside at dusk or overnight. Coyotes do provide some benefits. They eat rats and other small pests. Just so you know, Hampton's animal control staff is not allowed to trap or capture coyotes unless the animal is sick or injured. A warning about a rabbit, cat, and raccoon found in Norfolk. The city health department says 2 dogs killed the raccoon in the Lafayette-Winona neighborhood. In a separate attack, a cat was captured after it scratched a dog on Racine Avenue. The 3 dogs involved are on rabies vaccinations. If you were bitten or scratched by a raccoon or a brown stray cat, call Norfolk Public Health.
The Sam's Club near East Little Creek Road and Tidewater Drive in Norfolk shuts its doors for good tonight. It's one of the 60 Sam Club stores Walmart is closing across the country. A Walmart official says it's too soon to know how many jobs will be lost. We're told some employees will be rehired at other locations. The news came to the same day Walmart announced it will boost its starting salary to $11 an hour. Big opportunity for those looking for work. Huntington Ingalls is hosting an employment information session next week. Newport News Shipbuilding hopes to see you Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. The event runs until 10:15 at the new One Stop Workforce Center in Norfolk. Registration is free and open to everyone. The Norfolk Harbor is one step closer to being wider, deeper, and safer. We just learned the Army Corps of Engineers approved the plan for the project. The Virginia Port Authority's channels are 50 feet deep. Officials want to extend it to 55 feet deep and 1,300 feet wide. This will allow for larger ships and two-way traffic. A final review is planned in June before engineering and design work begins.